Simply Scuba presents the Deco Stop podcast.
Hi everybody and welcome to the Deco Stop podcast. I'm Mark. I'm joined as ever with
Sean. I got my name right this day, this week, today. Coffee has not hit my lips yet. Well, it actually has.
But you spelt it wrong. You spelt it with a W, didn't you?
So
we're here.
I've had to tell my local Starbucks off because they keep putting W's in my name. Like, you're Sean, aren't you? I'm like, yeah. He's like, not SEAN. I'm like, no, the other one. And they put W, and I'm like, no, the other one. And I have a feeling it will be. They'll write it, and I'll be like, no, the other one, because there's about 20 different names or different ways of spelling my name.
That always reminds me of, there was one, some guy, he took a photo of his Starbucks cup, and I imagine they did it out of fun, and he's like, my name's Stephen with a PH, so they wrote PHEVEN.
Yes.
Oh dear.
That's why if I ever worked in Starbucks, I'd get fired for doing that. That'd be me.
As long as someone has a sense of humour, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Deco Stop.
Anyway, yeah, scuba diving, interesting.
We are not sponsored by
the
Starbucks, I promise.
No, we're not. So we're here to talk about scuba diving. Starting off with the Simply Scuba website. So we've got a few updates. The first one is we got a big batch of Cressy equipment. So if you didn't know, Cressy is one of the huge Italian scuba diving brands. Lots of lovely stuff, and we've got like a little bit of everything. So that will be on the website. Some of it where we have stocked it previously, before we moved over to the Internet Fusion group. It won't show up in new in because the ID number basically it already exists, so it just kind of goes back and shuffles into the website, whereas some of the stuff is new to the website, so it does show up in new in.
Cool.
We also have the Apex VX1 mask in their dark grey. It kind of looks black on the website just because it's on a white background, so it's hard to tell, but when you stand it up against the actual black one, it's this cool kind of gunmetal grey. I think the official term is, I think they call it DARPA grey, is the official like colouring to it. But if you don't want it like jet black, with the rest of your jet black wetsuit and BCD and all kind of stuff, everything's black with scuba diving, you can get it in this sort of dark grey. They also do the VX1 fins in this kind of dark grey, and it's cool. Like continuing throughout their ranges. You see it in the in their lunar torch ranges. They've got that gunmetal grey. It's also in their new reels and spools. So yeah, it is a colourway that they're sort of running with. But yeah, available in both the UV cut, which basically has ultraviolet protective lenses to save your eyes if you're diving somewhere sunny, or just the sort of the classic. I think they call it the HD cut or something, but it's optical grade glass, so it's
HD.
Clear.
I couldn't 4K it. Come on,
4K.
Come on, 8K.
They should, get ahead of the game. Just call it 8K glass.
8K glass.
Otherwise, I think that's about it for this week. We've got a few little sort of upgrades behind the scenes that you probably won't notice, but yeah, all is going well.
Excellent.
Moving on to the Green Initiative. So we, Sean and I, if you've been listening to the podcast last week, we went to Londinium last week.
We did,
and we had a chat with a whole bunch of other people from the company, and we're actually talking about a lot of the sort of eco-friendly stuff that the company does, and one of them that stuck with us and was kind of a big point in the meeting was that the returns department has been talking with one of the suppliers, and they basically managed to convince them to effectively change the way that they do things. So if a product comes back from a customer to us and it has a minor fault in it, like the logo isn't stitched on quite straight or something, but the product itself is still functionally perfect. It's just got like a minor, like it's got a scuff on it or something. It's not technically perfect. The manufacturer will basically say, well, to save shipping and all that kind of stuff, because all we're going to do is just bin it. cut the logo off and kind of and like seriously damage the product, take a photo of it, and then just throw it in the bin. And we were like, well, what's the point in that? This is a perfectly good whatever it is. We don't really want to do this. And we managed to convince them to basically say, oh, okay, as long as I think we have to cross out the serial number. And then it can be upsold or donated to charity or like a local school or something. So yeah, we all thought that was a really nice story, and just the modern way of doing things.
Definitely.
Because otherwise it's just going to go to landfill, and what's the point if it's a perfectly good whatever it is? Why? What is the real point? And it is. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about today,
Cool.
and I just did.
Cool, wicked. Well, I can add to that if you want. So I think
Go on then.
I think that's really cool. I think obviously we talk a lot about plastic pollution and all that sort of thing, but clothing waste is a serious issue, and it's massive.
Yeah.
The thing is the problem is you've got the big companies. I'm not going to say the Primark. Basically, you have Primark. They churn out so many clothes, and if you ever buy Primark stuff, you only buy it for the season. You buy it for the summertime, or if you go on. Do you remember holidays, Mark? They were nice.
Whoa!
You'd buy some T-shirts
That's a blast from the past.
And then generally, you wash them about once or twice, and then they don't fit you anymore. So then you'd either throw it
Or
away,
they fall apart.
Yeah, or they mainly fall apart. So the fact that the Green Initiative and our warranty team have gone, well, look, let's just stop the waste. Let's see if we can fix some things or take it apart. So then if a customer is missing a part, they go, oh, this broke off. Oh, hold on, let's see if we've actually got the replacement. I think it's fantastic, and it's something that we need to do. Before I worked for Simply, I worked for another outdoor retailer. Do you know what? I can say the name. It's Millets and Blacks, because when I worked there, they're owned by a different company now. But we had to do the same thing. So every time a customer returned an item that was faulty, it would literally get put in the warranty box. We'd take a picture of it. We'd send the picture to HQ or whoever, the warranty team, and then they'll be like, right, okay. Every month you got here's a knife, cut it up, throw it in the bin. But what we ended up doing, quite a lot of us, we managed to fix quite a lot of it, stitch it back up, and then we just donated it all to charity.
Yeah. Stitching time.
Yeah, we cut the serial numbers, like the bits that we had to cut off. But yeah, we stitched it up. So I think my mum loved it. At the end of the month, I'm like, here, Mum, I've got these jackets. Can you stitch them up? I just need to put some sealant on there to make them waterproof, and then whack them in the charity, and that stops them from going into landfill. Or we used, like, if it was rucksacks and strap, like literally, we'd take them apart and we'd have a spare box, and if anyone came in going, "Oh, I need something," it's like, here you go, take this.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it before where I've had like a pair of shoes or something, and after a few weeks or months or something, they do start to leak or whatever. I'm just like, oh. No, I can't say that. Sorry, Sean.
You were the one that slipped up. It wasn't me. Yes!
I know, that's unusual.
Yes!
That's unusual for me.
Yes!
But anyway, moving swiftly on. Yeah. And I just get a bit of Aquasure or something just to seal the link, because what's the point in like sending it back and then getting a replacement pair? Because what are they going to do with that pair of shoes? Yeah, they're just going to throw them in the trash, throw them away, and that's it. They can't be recycled. They can't be upcycled because someone else has worn them for a few weeks. It's daft. But luckily, we are the kind of company that does put pressure on the manufacturers to basically say, really, no, come on, let's actually do whatever we can to not waste this resource, because it does have a value, but they don't see that. All they see is, at the end of the day, I get my FedEx bill, paying to return this product, and I don't really want to pay that. It's true, just make it disappear.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It doesn't disappear. It has to go somewhere.
Again, if you're also listening to this in the UK, and you want to help reduce clothing waste, so you don't want it to stop. You want it to stop it from going in landfill, and also as well, you know, even if you donate your clothes to charity, a lot of the charity clothes they have to dispose of them themselves. You know, again, they try and do it in an eco-friendly way. But basically, what I'm getting at, I'm going to say Primark again. This is a good thing about Primark. They actually have recycling stations. So if you want to get rid of old T-shirts, old clothes, doesn't matter. The brand doesn't even have to be from Primark. You can basically dump it there. They've got bins, basically. So you put it in the recycling bin, and then what they will end up doing is cleaning it all up. If it can be given to charity to be resold, they do it. If they can take it apart, and then like de-stitch and, you know, all that sort of thing, then they can use that for materials for something else. So it's just a way of upcycling and recycling. Also H&M, they do it as well in the UK. I don't know whether wherever you live, if there's any recycling clothes things, but yeah, the more we do it, and also as well, it's going to sound silly, but well, not necessarily silly, and everyone has budgets and stuff, but rather than buying a £2 T-shirt, buy a £20 T-shirt that's going to last you 3 or 4 years rather than 6 months, you know? Yeah. I've certainly started doing that. I mean, I bought a Patagonia belt for £30. A belt, but I know that belt, the quality is it's a beautiful belt, but I'm going to have that.
I was going to say, you say this to me as if I'm going to react, but no, that's
exactly what you like. But for me, like, look,
buy cheap, buy twice.
Yeah, I normally get, I don't know, £5-6 belt, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, the Patagonia belt's probably going to be put on my corpse when I get buried. It's going to be there, and then it'll get recycled because it's biodegradable, and it'll help me grow into the maple tree that I want to become.
It'll be on your headstone. It's like, he loved this belt.
There'll be, you know, some tombstones have a picture, and there'll just be me hugging the belt. Oh, I love this belt.
It'll pass down to your firstborn child, and then in like 3 generations, it was like, son, this was your great grandfather's Patagonia belt.
I can't wait.
He spent £60 on it.
It's gonna what's it? Oh, what's that show on the BBC? Oh, The Repair Shop. It's gonna be there like season 2000 of The Repair Shop. It's gonna come in. It's just the buckle and a bit of This is the original color of what it was. The strand of recycled plastic or whatever it's made out of. But anyway, it's awesome that we're doing that. Don't destroy, guys. If you can recycle. Give it to charity.
Fix things.
And also as well, Patagonia.
People have forgotten how to fix stuff.
Yeah, in America, I've just realised, I just remembered, Patagonia do recycled, so you can take your hiking gear. Again, I know this is a scuba diving channel, but if you have hiking gear, get in contact with your Patagonia rep, and they'll be able to take your clothing from you. And what they actually do is, if they can, they put it through their machines, they stitch up what needs to be stitched up, and they line it. They basically don't make it brand new, because obviously they can't, but they basically make it reusable again, so then people can, you know, wear it. Anyway,
that's the way to do it.
And also as well, like, leading the way, we got this in before Europe. Obviously, we have the right to repair now in the UK, which I think is fantastic. You know what I mean? Yes. No more of this. Oh, you need to replace something. Oh, it's going to cost you £5,000, or oh no, we can't get the part. You have to buy a new phone. All of that's slowly going to go out the window now, which is fantastic. It's the right, single use. Anyway, shut up, Sean. Let's actually crack on with the show.
Social channel updates.
That's weird, because normally the social channel updates is the one that gets the randomness, but no, it's the green initiative.
We haven't done the social channel yet,
so that's true.
We'll see.
We will see. So social channel updates. Anyway, so YouTube. So you can now vote. Go vote for Surface Interval. So we have 3 up at the moment. I'm just refreshing the page. So we have got what to expect on a rib dive. That's last at 11% as of recording. Second place is why wreck diving sucks and why it's awesome, because the positive spin on that title does not work. I have to go for the negative spin. That's second with 27. But funnily enough, the most generic title that I just put in there as a whim, but again, I should really know this by now. Should I go deep? Is it worth it? That's like the most standard generic title that is in the world, and it's winning by 62%. So that's blatantly going to win.
Yeah. I think that's safe for me to
Yeah.
write now.
You can write it. Do you want to film it now as well? Go on, let's just do it.
Might as well.
Right, and read. But yeah, so we got the vote. Yeah, so head over to the community tab over on YouTube and then get voting if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel. But yeah, that's the Surface Interval, and we've got a new sponsor for the Surface Interval, but we're not going to say anything about that. So it's going to be divided between Empora and Gucci. Yeah, that's right, Gucci, guys. I said it. We got Gucci. No, but yeah, we don't have Gucci.
Does Empora stand for something? What does Empora mean?
I was that. What's that meme of Chris Pratt?
At this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
Yeah, because I don't.
I've never really thought of it. It's just like, oh yeah, they're Empora, but I've never actually thought about where the name comes from.
Piste, because they like skiing, outdoors, rafting, adventures. There you go.
Probably.
That's it.
It's only because I was watching a thing on in America. They have like a scheme which helps you like build like solar panels on your roof and that kind of stuff. Cool. And it's not quite government backed, but it kind of looks like it's government backed. And one of the big like agencies is called Y Green, and it's spelt kind of jankily. But when you actually look at it, it's energy spelt backwards, and you're like, okay,
that's cool.
Yeah, well done. I'm not sure if that's a good like name because it's like it's energy, but backwards.
But backwards. Also,
we're doing it backwards.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway,
yeah.
I've got sniffles, but yeah, no, Empora guys. If you're listening to the team from Empora, Jack, if you're listening to this, which I don't think anyone will be because they're not scuba divers. Let us know why you're called Empora, or if you guys know, make up your own. Go over to YouTube, and in the comments, make up your own version of what you think Empora.
What does Empora stand for?
Let us know in the comments below. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, cool. Mm-hmm. YouTube has gone really, really well. So we are I know I've mentioned this many a times before in Deco Stops and deep dives and all that sort of thing, and the dive briefs. We are obviously a seasonal channel. We were trying to work to get rid of the seasonal channel. COVID messed that up. I guess So And
not much we could have done without that.
Yeah. So we've gone back to a seasonal channel, but it's good to see obviously now that restrictions are basically non-existent in the UK anymore, and we can go everywhere and cough on everyone and spread the disease. Fantastic. Well, I'm double jacked.
We're vaccinated. It's better, yeah.
We're only going to be passing around, like 10%? I've got the Pfizer, so it's probably even less than that. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. That's political. People are anti-vaxxers. Is there any anti-vax? No, shut up, Sean.
Just skip.
Basically, what I'm saying, guys, is that July was an amazing month. It was almost back to normal pre-COVID, which is fantastic. It's a bit of a late to the season, so I don't know whether our normal season starts end of February, kind of when the new gear comes in, and then obviously summertime. That's when everyone goes on holiday and kicks off. But it seems to be happening now. So hopefully that means it's either going to be a short-lived window, which is fine, doesn't matter, or it's going to mix up the norm. So people are going to be going on holiday at later times of the year because obviously restrictions have stopped them from going in, which is really, really cool. So yeah, no, it's just, I looked at the stats, I looked at the analytics of things, I looked at the views, and I'm like, yes, it is back. We are back. I just don't like looking at the yearly because that makes me cry, but Mark's been giving me counselling about that, haven't you? When I look at the year.
I do my best.
It's just like, Sean, stop it.
I did actually do a, what do you call it? Oh, I've got the word seminar stuck in my head, but it was more than that. I did like 6 months of sort of learning how to do counselling. So yeah, that might help. Yeah.
Well,
why not?
Well, thanks. I mean, you did it to animals, didn't you? So that was to a raccoon, but they're a bit smarter than me, so it's all good. But yeah, anyway,
they do know to wash their hands and their food before they eat it.
Oh,
so,
what? Well, yeah, there we go then. I mean, that's
why there's that really sad video of a raccoon, and they give it like cotton candy, and it goes to wash it in the water, and it just dissolves. You see, it's like, where?
I love raccoons, love them.
They are cool.
They are cool.
Funny.
Anyway, so it's all good. So hello to the new subscribers on our channel. Thank you. Hello to our new subscribers on the podcast, but I'll talk about that in a little bit later. And I'm also glad that everyone is still liking the I say new, old format of the dive brief. It's going down really, really well. So awesome. Thanks to that. Mm-hmm. More importantly, as well, when it comes to YouTube, our female viewership is actually increasing, Mark, which is fantastic, which cool. I'm really excited about. Now, granted, it's only 10%, but that's the first time it's been in double digits, I think, ever on YouTube. I want to branch out to our female viewers of the YouTube channel and also podcast, obviously, because you're listening to this. Is there anything that you would like to see us do for you, for the female divers, basically? Because obviously we try to cater for everyone, but it is not necessarily male dominated, but we don't really do specifics. So if there is a specific thing that you want us to do, we can basically try and sort something out. If that also means that maybe we get a new presenter in, or like we do specials with someone, if we've got the reasoning to do it and we've got the requests to do it, it's something that we can put forward to the powers that be, so then we can get that basically in motion, in a sense. So female viewers, if you have anything that you want to see advice-wise, product-wise, let us know in the comments below on this video, or any YouTube. Actually, no, just stick to this video on YouTube, and then we'll see what we can do. And if we get enough requests, we'll definitely try and sort something out, because it's something that's near and dear to my heart. I've always been wanting to push the female aspect of scuba diving. Hence why back in the day I was like, Mark, you're beautiful, but we're gonna get one of the girls from the office. We're actually gonna get them to talk. And do you remember Robin? She was good, mate.
Yeah, Robin, yeah, mate. She was cool.
Hey, Robin, how's it going? I know you're listening, so you're a massive fan of Deco Stop. She went on to Ted Baker, guys, and then for the update. But now she works for GHD, the hair straightening people. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, that's it. Complete off random. Yeah. If you're a female diver, obviously I know there are specific female diving channels and stuff, but sometimes they don't have the punch that our channel's got. So if you want to see anything in particular, let us know, please. And then, we can forward it to the powers that be, and we can get it done, hopefully. Get it filmed, and get it all done. And then Instagram, just the last one. I said the last one. Gee, that was only YouTube. Mate, that took about 10 hours. Yeah. Instagram, people are still liking the surge. They like the reposts. Everything's going really, really well in there. So there's been a nice surge of followers. So again, if you don't follow us at simplyscuba, use the hashtag simplyscuba on your Instagram post, your scuba diving Instagram post. Nothing else, please. We won't share that. And then we might repost it. If we like the image, we'll repost it on our channel. And that seems to be doing really, really well. So awesome. So hello to all the new followers, subscribers, everyone on that channel. And finally, the podcast. So just going to quickly go through the bullet points on here. So our Spotify followers are still going up, a nice steady flow from last month, which is really, really good to hear, because again, that's the main this is where it's where the majority of the people listen to us. So it's nice to see that growth on there. Again, Deco Stop is the most popular show. It was the most popular show in July, which is good to see. Our number one followers, or our number one country that still listens to us, is the USA, which makes a lot of sense. Second was the UK, which again makes a lot of sense. And number 3 was Australia. So I think that's your sister, isn't it? She lives out there. She obviously listens to Deco.
Yeah. It's just my sister and all of her friends.
Yeah.
Just
thanks, guys.
Listen to my brother's podcast.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it. Listen to it, or I'll fire you all, which I think is the right attitude to have. Which is really
no
good.
other reason.
No other reason. I mean, they don't even scuba dive. They don't have water. Well, they can't go in the water because they'll die. Isn't that the thing? You just look at water and a spider will eat your eyeballs out.
Yeah, something will kill you. Yeah.
But so everything's on the up with the podcast, which is really, really good to hear, because I really like honing in on that, which is really, really cool. And with that, obviously, I've got to do the classic. If you are listening to us, don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button, please, or the plus button, or whatever button there is to keep you up to date with the podcasts, because we do 4 4 a week go live. Obviously, this is the main one, and obviously we do audio. Take the audio from other videos. But yeah, so there's a lot that's going on there. So yeah, follow, subscribe, notify, whatever you need to do. And also as well, if you can, if there is a rating system on wherever you listen to your podcast, please can you rate us? Only 5 stars and positive comments, no negatives, or I send the boys round to break your kneecaps. Thank you very much. And that is actually, I'll put a disclaimer that I won't do that because we're good people. But yeah, the more people that follow, the more people that stream, the more people that listen to us, it's just good. And everything's going in the right direction, which is really, really cool. And I would love, Mark, to get over 1,000 subscribers, followers on our Spotify. That would be amazing. I mean, we hit 10,000 plays again this year, so over 10,000 people are listening to this, which is awesome. But yeah, anyway, that's the social. Shut up, Sean. What's the news, Mark? What's the scuba news?
Okay, so here are a few things that piqued my interest this week. So the first one comes from Manchester in the UK. This news story dates back to 2017. And this was a terrible news story, actually, because it was basically... there was a dive school, and they were doing a tri-dive session week for a bunch of school kids in Manchester, and one of them I think was acting really weird, and then he was sort of unresponsive on the surface. So of course they sort of ended everything, got him out, called an ambulance, all that kind of stuff to sort of help out, and then when the boys were getting sort of changed afterwards, a few of them were feeling kind of weird and kind of funny, and it turns out they all had carbon monoxide poisoning, and it all stems back to the dive centre that filled up their tanks. And it's one of these things where it was just like a series of unfortunate events, and it led to something terrible happening. And I think there were a few things. The first one is that the compressor had been modified to I think it had a moisture issue, so someone modified it to try and prevent that. The carbon monoxide sensor failed as well, and there was I don't quite understand it, but somewhere in one of the filters effectively there was a fire. The CO2 sensor should have picked up on it and cut it off, but of course because it was faulty it didn't. And yeah, they had really, really bad air fills. The dive centre has been fined, I think it's about £20,000, and the technician or whoever was filling it, he was fined about £5,000 and has to do 100 hours of community service, sort of unpaid work. Yeah, serious story, and it's really just if you do fill up cylinders, or if you do sort of change filters on compressors or something, make sure you do it correctly. Make sure you are all up to scratch. Don't cut corners and all that kind of stuff, and just sort of be as safe as possible. Yeah, terrible news story. I think all of the
scary. They're scary things.
Yeah. I think all of the boys sort of recovered. Some of them are complaining of recurrent headaches and things. I mean, this is 4 years later, but it is still sort of affecting them. So it's very serious, and it could have ended very worse. So yeah, do your best to sort of fill tanks and check them properly.
Definitely.
Next news story comes from Spain, and this is basically There's a company, I think it's in southern Spain, and they have been working at creating a tomato that is effectively, it has the same taste and texture as tuna.
Why would they ruin a tomato that way? What's a
they're
massive
basically looking...
What is it? Jurassic Park. They never said, what is it? I don't even know what the line is, but it's not your go-to.
They were so concerned about whether they could.
Yeah.
They didn't think about whether they should.
Yeah, that's it. That's just wrong.
Actually, it's kind of good because plant-based alternatives are becoming much more popular, and with sort of tuna stock in decline, it's a relatively inexpensive and easy to grow alternative, and they actually had a marketing executive from a big like sort of tuna brand, and they apparently he took a bite of this like dehydrated tomato as like sort of sushi, and he said, this is going to be a problem for us.
That's when he sent the boys round, the Yakuza.
But yeah, this is becoming a big thing. Just sort of like meat alternatives that are just as good, but cheaper and easier and better for the environment.
Definitely.
So we had it a few weeks ago, and it was it was like lab grown meat.
Yes.
Where it is technically meat because it's cells derived from like the muscle cells of a certain animal, but actually it's grown and the animal's still alive. You didn't have to. Yeah, it's very clever. But this is just
a tomato.
an alternative. Yeah, it's a tomato, and when you prepare it correctly, it is basically tuna fish. And if, especially for like a lay person, you're not really gonna know. I mean, you will because it will say on the menu, but hey, I'm all for it.
So right.
yeah,
I mean, I don't eat sushi, so go nuts, mate.
I just think this is a good thing, and it's sort of the way the world is going, just coming up with clever alternatives to sort of what, because the world that we live in at the moment, let's be honest, it's not sustainable the way that we're doing things. As much as we try and sort of make it sort of seem and market things as it's as best as we can do, it doesn't mean that it's good.
No.
But yeah, this is an alternative.
You've got to do these things to get to the final. It might not work, but this could be the step towards something else, towards something else, towards something else that will work. You know what I mean? It's This isn't the end game. We've only just started, really.
Yeah, and it's also important to remember like the other side of things, and because like with avocado production and whatnot, and it takes like so many hundreds of gallons of water to produce a single avocado, all that kind of stuff, and then the shipping and all that. So it's a matter of, this is good because it's sort of eliminating that need to sort of fish for tuna, but at what cost? Does it need like specific sort of water or something? This special tomato, what
you have to do?
Let's look into that.
It uses tuna water, so you get tuna. You got to blend it and filter it. So you still need the tuna. It's just to get that taste on the tomato. That's what they didn't tell you. Who knows?
So yeah, I just thought that was quite interesting. It's not it's like Struth. It's just a tomato that's just been dried and prepared in a certain way, and it tastes like tuna fish.
Cool. I can't wait for
the future.
The bacon tomato. That'd be good.
Someone's working on it. I'm sure
they need to. They need to.
Next news story comes from Egypt, and this is the Thonis Heraklion, which was Egypt's largest Mediterranean port before Alexander the Great founded Alexandria. And divers have been sort of checking out the area and like dusting things off, and they found all sorts of interesting stuff.
So dusting footprints. It's like, this isn't working.
It just it dilutes so quickly. But yeah, so a team from the European Institute for Underwater Archaeology, or ISM. I don't know why they put that acronym in there because it doesn't really do. Yeah. But they've been sort of checking out this sort of area, and they found like shipwrecks, and they found all sorts of like baskets that actually had fruit, or at least remains of fruit in them, and sort of pottery, all that kind of interesting stuff. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Do you know what they found I was going to say, do you know what they found in the baskets? They found some tomatoes that tasted like tuna. That's where they gone from. Yeah, that's called derailing, isn't it? I derailed you.
But that honestly, that's about it for that story. And then
someone went underwater, found some baskets.
That's kind of it. It is interesting. It's going to a museum, probably not the British Museum because we get a really bad rap for that. We still have a lot of people's stuff.
I listened to
probably give back.
Yeah, I listened to a podcast about that the other day, and it's not good.
Yeah. You made this. We're gonna keep this. You can come visit anytime. The ticket fare is only 20 quid.
Yeah, it's bad, mate. And also, what you see is what's on display is literally a drop in the ocean of what they've got.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
Yeah. I do like there's a I want to call it passive aggressive, but I think it's in Greece, and they have like this what do you call it? They've got like 5 or 6 of these like totem columns, and then like one of them there's just an empty space in this room, and the little plaque just says, "Oh, the 5th and final one is located in the British Museum in London," and it's like here's the complete set except for this one, and they purposely left this open space. You're like, yeah, just give it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on from the
museums.
UK's
Yeah.
interesting history. Moving on to Lake Tahoe, and a team of scuba divers has collected £8,000 worth of trash, which is about 3.5 tons, I think.
Which you can see at the British Museum coming this fall.
Faithfully restored. No, so this is a team of divers who have been planning to dive I think it's like 72 miles of this lake's perimeter. So far they've done about 20 miles, and they've already collected £8,000 of trash. It's mainly like sort of drinks cans and all that kind of stuff, but of course they find all sorts from like Sony Walkmans. I mean, someone lost that in like the late 80s, early 90s, and it's been there ever since.
Yeah. They're trying to bring them back. It probably still plays too.
Yeah. It probably still works, to be honest.
Yeah. They're trying to bring them back though. Like they did the vinyl. I know this is completely off topic, but they did the vinyl reunion, which has done really well, revival.
Okay.
But they keep trying to bring back tape, and like tapes were crap. They were
weren't
awful.
great.
There's a reason why they weren't around that long. They're awful things. That's why you still get CDs. I mean, CDs are bad enough. But tape were even worse.
Not on the go. Not on the go. I think the best CD player I ever had, it had like 60-second memory or something to stop it from jumping. But yeah, you had to be perfectly still to listen to a CD.
Yeah.
Whereas a cassette tape, granted you only got a few songs on it.
Yeah.
But hey.
What I used to love about cassettes, I had a cassette player that if you leave 2 seconds between 2 songs, it's a skip. So it reads the blank. Yeah, it was really good. Because I remember my mate got one, and I was like, what you got that for, you idiot? That's a waste of money. And then I got one like literally a month later for my birthday, and I'm like, thanks, Mum.
Yeah.
I didn't show it for a while. It was cool.
Yeah. Hashtag 1993 problems.
Yeah. And when my brother really annoyed me, again, VHS and tape, you used to tape over the top bits that used to store the music.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can wipe a tape. And whenever my brother annoyed me, it's what I did. So I've got a new album. Like, no, you haven't. It's going to be blanked.
No.
You didn't give me one of your sweets. I'm going to ruin a £10 tape that you bought. God, I'm such an arsehole of a little brother.
That was my favourite Pog.
You drew on it. The Pog, whatever his name is, Caveman Mr. Pog, shouldn't have a moustache.
Captain Caveman.
Oh, it was cool. Anyway, we are going off a tangent. How on earth did we get from cleaning up? Well, no, the tape. That was it.
Yeah, a Walkman.
£8,000 of trash. £8,000 of Walkmans they found. That's amazing.
It's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a small lake where I take my dogs walking, and every time I walk past, I was like, I wonder what's down there, because I imagine people drop all sorts of stuff. But it's like a fish lake, and there's a lot of wild birds there. So I'm like, I don't really want to get in. I'd want to full face mask that.
Yeah. It's when you come out,
decontamination shower after.
I was going to say, you come out and you've got COVID Mark 7. The proper UK variant. Someone sneezed in it.
The Omega strain, the final strain.
the final strain. Oh, because you're like, I wonder what's in there. A golf ball.
Yeah. I mean, people go fishing off of it, so I imagine there's a lot of lost ghost gear in there as well.
We need to get a
which I don't-
Dally MD, mate. Come on, go to where Mark lives.
God.
He'll still find an iPhone and a gun though. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. The visibility is measured in centimeters, but you'll find all sorts of interesting stuff down there.
Cool.
But anyway, that's it from the news. If you found any interesting news stories, or if you've done anything interesting that you want us to mention, then let us know in the YouTube comments. Onto my product of the week. So this week I'm talking about the Apex 1.4 meter delayed surface marker buoy.
Wow.
Or as I've just noticed, it's mentioned. It's named on the Simply Scuba website as Apex DSMB 1.4 meters DSMB. Well done, whoever did that.
Throwing shade, mate. Throwing shade.
But actually, it's because I just did the product video for this yesterday, and I just remembered how nice this DSMB is. So the first thing is that it's a skinny DSMB, as I called it. So it's not like a huge chunky DSMB, which you just can't store in a pocket or anything. It's nice and thin. And it rolls up, obviously, 1.4 meters in length, so it's a decent size, so it's going to help you get seen. And it's closed cell as well, which if you've been following the channel for any length of time, you know is my favorite, because there's no way for it to deflate by itself. But instead of having that standard, like quick disconnect fitting from a BCD, it actually has an oral inflation valve. So most scuba divers nowadays, they actually orally inflate their DSMBs, because as you exhale, it means that your buoyancy doesn't actually change when you're filling up the DSMB. Whereas if you're doing it with a quick disconnect fitting, as you fill it up, of course, you're changing your buoyancy, and you're going to start to go up if you hold on to it. Whereas if you have, or if you orally inflate, it just gives you that extra moment after you've blown into it where you're still neutrally buoyant to sort yourself out, let it shoot up to the surface, or if you need to, just take another quick breath and put that into it. But otherwise, all of the features of it are really nicely well put together, well constructed, and it ticks a lot of boxes. And one thing, doing the unboxing, and you'll see this when you come to edit the video, Sean, is that it comes with spare parts.
Which for a DSM, really?
I know. There's so it has like a bungee loop to like hold it closed when you're not using it.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah.
It does have a little tab on it, which is pretty cool. So if you're wearing gloves, it's a lot easier for you to like take that bungee off. But it also has a replacement length of bungee and 2 of those spare tabs as well. And the only thing that I can think of is so that you have an extra one if that bungee ever wears out, you have some spares.
That's well
which
cool.
I think is pretty cool.
So how many have you bought?
Sample.
How many have you bought already? These?
I do want one. We only have 9 left in stock, and I do want one of those 9.
Well, what did I say? Out of the 7,000 that you've got already, sell a couple, and then you can buy another one.
I should do. I do have too many DSMBs. I collect them like stamps.
Exactly. What have you got more of though? Actually, that's a silly question. I was going to say more bolt snaps or DSMBs, but I already know the answer to that. Yeah,
I have it. I have a drawer of
Yes.
bolt snaps in the red tool chest behind me.
Yes. We did a intervention, guys, for that once. You came into the office one day. We had a banner up. Intervention of Mark's bolt snap problem. Didn't work though.
No,
In fact,
overpowered them.
yeah, because as soon as like literally the day after, it's like XD, and they're like, XD bolt snaps. Anyway, bolt snaps. No,
I mean, literally, in arm's reach, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 bolt snaps just in like easy reach from where I am right now. Yeah.
So anyway, guys, buy the Apex DSMB. Thanks.
There'll be a link down in the description below.
Okay, so Mark, let's go straight to the question of the week. So, this question has been mentioned in other questions beforehand, but I thought, you know what, let's pluck it out and let's have this question a sole question by itself. So, We all know surfing, skateboarding, scuba diving, skiing, or not scuba diving, sorry, skiing, snowboard. Yeah, don't know why I said that.
Where,
but anyway,
where are you going, Sean?
yeah, I don't know. We all know that they are mainstream sports, but they are still extreme sports. They obviously still have some dangers, and especially mountain biking as well. That is blowing up massively, or has been over the past couple of years. So my question,
in a good way.
in a good way, yeah, not that they've been physically, although that would be interesting to see downhill mountain biking, and then if you hit the wrong branch, you blow up. I would watch that.
Yeah.
As long as they don't
If you
get
come
hurt.
in last place.
Yeah, boom, you get blown up. But anyway, like my whole point is, should scuba diving go to the masses? And if it should, how do we do it? How do you get scuba diving to that tier when it comes to skiing, snowboarding? You know what I mean? When you're young, when you're a teenager, you know, you think about how cool skateboarding is. How, oh yeah, I want to give up. You know, I want to do surfing. Obviously, you know, depending on who you are, but I certainly did when I was younger. How do we get scuba diving in that mindset? But also as well, should we make scuba diving mainstream? Should we bring it to the masses, or should we keep it a little cool? We're like the cool uncle, you know what I mean? Like scuba diving, you know, you know, only the people that do it are the coolest people. And it's not to the masses.
The elite.
The elite, yeah. Just want to get your thoughts on, whether scuba diving should go to the masses. If it should, how do we do it? And should we do it? What are your thoughts?
I think it would be better if we did manage to get more people into scuba diving, because at the moment, a lot of dive centres are disappearing because they just can't sustain themselves with what little sort of revenue and footfall they have at the moment. So if we could get more people into scuba diving, then and it does have a less immediate benefit of that. I mean, there is a statistic somewhere, and that there is a correlation between people scuba diving and that concern for the ocean environment and health. So it is beneficial to have sort of more scuba divers in the world, because you can see the physical changes of what's happening to our oceans, and that does often get a lot of sort of passion and things done that can help. So I think it would be worth getting more people in. How do we do it? I mean,
cookies. Offer free cookies.
Yes. Just a line of like sweet treats, just leading people to a dive center. I mean, I was indoctrinated into scuba diving as a child, which is often a good way to get people into anything. And so, I mean, if we did sort of have more, if you sort of like run a dive center, and it's definitely worth talking to nearby schools, and even if you don't charge them like extortionate amounts, if you do get like a few people just hooked into scuba diving, then they're naturally going to come to you anyway for the full-on course and then buying equipment. So I think that's definitely a good way of doing it. I mean, we used to, at the dive center I used to work for, we used to have it where we'd work with a department store on the high street where someone would sort of just stand out front, and we had a car, and it was all sort of done up in the scuba diving livery and whatnot. We had like some of the equipment, and it was just having that conversation. If someone was interested, they'd come over and you sort of have a chat. And it's true, even if only like 5% of the people that you spoke to actually came into the dive center, it's still more than just sitting in your dive center hoping people will come to you. So it's just that getting it into people's mindset, and just like, oh, okay, that's because it's one of those things where you probably know someone who is into scuba diving. And
I don't know anyone.
And it's just a thing that's on your radar. You're aware of scuba diving, but you never really thought, oh, maybe I should like take a class in it or something. So yeah, just kind of like make it as easy as possible. I mean, we also used to go to country fairs. There was like a yearly country fair, and we'd bring a 5 meter wide. I think it was just like a huge paddling pool in effect. The water would like come up to my waist. But if anybody wanted to like sort of come in, then yeah, we've got some shorties, get changed in the van, and yeah, you can just sort of try it in like 1 meter deep water, and then yeah, that's kind of interesting. And then they can say it, oh yeah, I went scuba diving, sort of, okay, it was only in a pool, but yeah, they can like brag to their friends, and then that kind of spreads that word. Social media as well is really good.
Is it?
A lot
I heard
of
about
scuba
that.
divers.
I heard about social media.
The next, I think that's an up and coming thing. But for scuba divers to upload sort of photos and videos of themselves and what they actually see underwater, and then their non-scuba diving friends will see that and go, huh, yeah, that is quite interesting. And then the more they see, the more it'll just be, oh, okay, maybe I should sort of try this out. So I think it is just take as many photos and videos as you can, and just really sort of try and bring it to the forefront, and sort of constantly have it in the back of people's minds. And the more that people see it, the more they think about it, and then the more they're going to try it out. And yeah, it's just one of those things. I think, yeah, more people should at least sort of try it out, because when they do see what the like sort of long-term effects of I mean, yeah, just sort of seeing like plastic pollution under the water, you notice that, oh, okay, I dropped this crisp packet, whatever, inevitably it ends up in our waterways and it ends up in our oceans. So you do kind of get that, oh, okay, no, I'm going to go that extra mile just to pick that up, or do like 2 minutes beach clean or whatever it is. It's it does have a positive effect on the environment. Yeah, just having people a bit more aware of what's going on in our oceans.
Yeah, I think that's cool. What do you say about getting bigger brands coming? Because obviously when you think of, you've got like Red Bull and stuff. Obviously I know that scuba diving can't, because that's an extreme sport, and that's a different subject which we have spoken about before. But we almost need bigger brands to promote scuba diving more. How would you go? How would you go about them doing it?
I mean, you do see it. I mean, there was one, or there's a few that sticks in mind. I mean, Omega watches and Rolex, they're always into their like sort of underwater and their sort of scuba stuff. And you see it in the advertising, and you're just like, oh yeah, it's just like a still shot. There was one, I think it was Benedict Cumberbatch, and he did an advert for a watch brand. I can't remember the brand now. And yeah, he was just getting into his free diving, and
it was like Casio a minute long calculator watch. You're welcome.
you can calculate, yeah, your
debt
time. But yeah, there was like a minute or two advert, and it was just sort of him like practicing his breathing and sort of going into the water, and then like sort of showing the watch on his wrist. So I think it's kind of there in those like sort of big elite brands. It's just a matter of, okay, it's an elite brand, but you can still do it. I think there's that sort of part to a lot of people where they see things and they go, okay, yeah, that's a really cool like image, but I could never do that. That's way beyond me. But actually, it's not. It's actually realistic. And everybody starts somewhere, and what it is walking into a dive center and going, hey, how do I learn how to scuba dive or free dive,
and then learning from there, and then purchasing all your gear from simplyscuba.com. Thank you. No, don't. Well, do that, but also help your local dive schools out. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, I think so. I think it's definitely worth getting more people into scuba diving.
Do you reckon it will happen though? Be honest. Do you really think it will actually happen?
I mean, we do need to change a lot of things. I mean, the overall community, as much as there is a nice scuba diving community, but there's also a rather harsh scuba diving community, which is a bit elite, and that does sort of present ourselves as a bit standoffish to a lot of newcomers. That's obviously the opposite of what we try and do. We try and be as inclusive as possible. And
No, we don't.
If you have any questions,
No, we don't. We do the opposite. We don't want that. We don't want people diving.
we mock people for their
Yeah.
silly questions. How dare you waste my time?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, any question. I mean, I had one earlier about how to sort of fit a certain snorkel, and it's like, yeah, you just do this, and this can help, and sometimes this is sort of what's causing the problem. I had another one the other day, and she had a dive computer, and she was struggling to sort of find out why. In the manual and in our videos it had like so many menus, but when she went to use her brand new computer it didn't have all of those menus, and just chatting with her managed to sort of work out it was like a certain mode or a function, and she was sorted, and so she was happy. So it's just a matter of just have that conversation, and if someone's asking you for help, it's because they think that you know the answer. So if you like berate them and make them feel silly, then they're just going to get disheartened and never come back. What's the point in that?
Exactly. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Right, we should tie this up in a nice little bow. What are your thoughts, guys and girls, though? So obviously if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can shout out your answer, but we're not going to hear you. But you could just head over to YouTube. This video or this podcast goes live as a video Sunday morning. So go over there, pop down your thoughts about scuba diving, bringing it to the masses. What do you think we should do? And should it, let us know in the comments. The comments. Anyway, Mark, end the show now, please. Bye.
If you do have any questions, comments, queries, or corrections to anything that you've heard, let us know down in the YouTube comments. Or if you're not listening on YouTube, head over to YouTube and write them down in the comments there. If you do have a question that you want me or Sean to elaborate on, try and use the hashtag #AskMark either at the beginning or the end, or just anywhere. In your comment.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier for us to find it. Don't forget to check out simplyscuba.com, because we do have all sorts of interesting new scuba diving equipment that you can check out, and we try and make it as like information as possible. We don't just copy and paste the manufacturer's description. We actually write down, and we sort of try and...
You say that. We just take the word "the" out and just replace it with another word.
But we try and go the extra mile and like actually weigh things and measure things so that you have as much information as possible. And of course the product videos, all that kind of stuff. If you are looking at a certain piece of equipment, you want to buy it from us, but it's a little bit expensive. Of course, we have Klarna. So Klarna is a 0% finance option for you. That gives you a few different buying options. If it's something small, then you can choose to defer your payments. If it's like a mask or a pair of gloves, you want to make sure that they fit comfortably before you actually pay for them. You can offset your payment for up to 30 days. I think it's 30 days. It could be 28. It's a while. It's a while.
Yeah.
You get plenty of time for it to actually be shipped, arrive to you. You can try it on, and then if it does fit, it is exactly what you want, then you pay for it. If you don't, then you can return it, and then the payment effectively never leaves your bank account. If it's a bit more expensive, then you can chop up your payment into a few 0% finance options. So you can sort of pay for it over a certain amount of time. Just makes it a bit easier for the bank balance. And we also have Adyen, which is a sort of behind the things. If you know what it is, it's great. If you don't, it's kind of a security sort of way of paying for things. It's a bit more secure. Your details are kind of encrypted, so people aren't going to steal your details online, basically. We have our partners charity, which is the 2 Minute Foundation. Just search for 2 Minute Foundation to see all the amazing things that they do. If you want, there's also an app as well, which I think is called the Beach Clean app that you can download. It's kind of like a social media account where you can kind of geotag your location, and you basically take a photo of some rubbish that you picked up and dispose of responsibly, and that just encourages more people to do it, and it helps clean up our local environment.
Indeed.
And that's it. Thank you for listening, everybody. Again, if you have any interesting news stories, let us know down in the comments in YouTube. Send us any links. A lot of the links, they get filtered out, but if it's a legitimate link, then we'll approve it later. But otherwise, thank you for listening, everybody, and of course, safe diving.
Stay classy, scuba divers.
The Deco Stop podcast is produced and recorded by Simply Scuba, the UK's #1 dive store. Visit today at simplyscuba.com.